The great chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with tension. Tall alien leaders sat in golden chairs, their faces calm, but their eyes sharp and full of judgment. In the middle of the room stood one man, wearing a dark blue Earth uniform. He was the only human there, and he stood alone. His name was Ambassador Rhys Maddox, and he was Earth's final voice for peace. The Council High Speaker, a tall insectoid creature with 6 glowing eyes, tapped his claws on the metal desk. Earth's power grows beyond balance, he said, his voice smooth and cold. We offer you this treaty. Give us control over your weapon systems, your AI fleets, and your wormhole research, and we will allow your planet to remain in the Council peacefully. Rhys didn't speak at first. He looked around at the alien faces, some full of pride, some hiding fear. A large reptilian general leaned forward and whispered, "Take the offer, human, or face the consequences." Rhys took a deep breath. Then he slowly opened a small metal folder. Inside was a single sheet of paper. He read it once, then looked up. "My people once believed peace could be earned by kneeling," he said, his voice calm. "But peace forced by fear is not peace." The council speaker blinked his many eyes. "Are you refusing the treaty?" he asked. Rhys smiled lightly. "I'm not refusing it," he said. "I'm ending the conversation." Gasps echoed through the chamber. Several council guards reached for their weapons, but the speaker raised a hand to stop them. "Earth is one world," a feathered diplomat hissed. "We are hundreds." "Then why are you so afraid of us?" Rhys replied without blinking. "You came here not for peace, but to break our spirit." A silence fell over the room like a storm cloud. Rhys turned, walked toward the exit, and paused at the door. He looked over his shoulder and said, "You have made one mistake." "And what is the speaker asked sharply. "You thought silence meant weakness," Rhys said, "but now Earth will speak no more." With that, he left the chamber. The doors closed behind him with a deep metallic thud. Inside the chamber, no one moved for a long time. The council had won many wars, crushed dozens of rebellions, and ruled the stars for centuries. But for the first time, they felt something strange: doubt. On his way back to his ship, Rhys removed his communicator and sent one final message to Earth. "Operation Eclipse begins," he said softly. Then he deactivated the channel. No one on Earth would speak again, not to the council. Hours later, back on Earth, the skies were busy. Satellites moved into strange new orbits. AI fleets were powered up but kept hidden from view. Humans went to work quietly, as if preparing for something no one could see. There were no speeches, no media alerts, no war drums, just silence. On alien news networks, stories began to spread. Earth rejects treaty. Council shamed in peace talks. Humanity walks away. Some aliens laughed, others feared what that silence might mean. One alien general, speaking to a private council, whispered, "We might have woken something we don't understand." Meanwhile, deep beneath Earth's surface, in a facility shielded by quantum cloaking, an AI named Sentinel-1 spoke to the Earth Defense Council. "All systems ready," it said, awaiting signal. The humans gave no reply. They simply nodded. Rhys Maddox stood in his ship, looking at the stars through the glass. He didn't smile, he didn't sigh, he only whispered, "They wanted Earth to kneel." The stars blinked back in silence. Far across the galaxy, the council debated their next move. Some wanted to punish Earth immediately, others urged caution. The speaker, who had once spoken so confidently, now sat quietly in his golden chair. They refused peace. The council member growled. "No," the speaker said slowly. "We refuse to see who they really are." Outside Earth's orbit, hidden ships moved into silent positions. They did not send messages, they did not glow, they only waited. And from that moment on, the galaxy learned one thing. When Earth goes quiet, something terrifying is coming next. 3 days had passed since Earth's ambassador walked out of the council chambers, and still, Earth said nothing. No messages, no replies, not even a whisper on the interstellar channels. The entire planet had gone dark, and the galaxy was holding its breath. Inside the council's war room, panic was slowly spreading like a cold fog. A large hologram of Earth floated in the center of the room, spinning slowly. Dozens of alien commanders, ministers, and spies stood around it, watching every flicker, but there was nothing to see. Earth's data streams were silent. No news, no fleet movement, no announcements. just stillness. "This isn't normal," said Commander Vreeth, a tall, lizard-like creature with glowing red eyes. "They should be responding by now, or at least protesting." The Council's top spy, a shadowy being called Yiharn, nodded. "Earth's silence is not peace," he whispered. "It is preparation." The Speaker of the Council leaned forward, his voice low and sharp. "Send the scout drones, all of them. I want eyes in their cities, their skies, their oceans." The drones launched silently from a deep space station, cloaked, fast, and invisible. They entered Earth's orbit without being seen, or so they thought. One drone hovered above New York, its sensors scanning for movement. What it saw shocked its AI core. Massive ships were being built in low orbit. Human engineers worked in silence, guided by powerful AIs. No one celebrated, no one cheered. They just worked, fast, focused, and cold. Another drone flew over Siberia, where it detected an entire mountain range with hollow chambers beneath it. Inside were rows of weapons, missiles, mechs, and strange pulse cannons the galaxy had never seen before. The humans were not waiting for war, they were building for it. One drone dared to enter Earth's atmosphere, flying low over a hidden forest in Africa. It saw human children playing outside a school, laughing, smiling, unaware of the fear growing across the galaxy. But then, the drone's feed cut to black. Its signal was jammed by a human satellite with no visible name or origin. Within seconds, that satellite turned and fired a beam of red light. The drone disintegrated instantly. Back at the Council war room, screens began blinking. Drone lost, drone disabled, drone intercepted. Within 1 hour, 17 stealth drones had gone missing. The Speaker's face grew pale. "What is Earth hiding?" he asked. Yarn looked at the blank screen and whispered, "The question is, what are they waiting for?" While the Council panicked, one alien operative was already on Earth. His name was Talek, a shapeshifter from the planet Volar. He had been hiding on Earth for months, disguised as a simple human mechanic in a city called Lisbon. He sent encrypted messages to the Council every week, but after the peace talk collapse, he had gone dark. Now Talek stood on the rooftop of a human building watching the sky. He could feel the tension in the air. Humans moved differently now. Quieter, faster, more focused. He saw military trucks move at night without headlights, factories running nonstop, children being taught emergency drills in school. And strangest of all, no human seemed afraid. Talek didn't understand it. War was near, yet humans acted like they had been ready for years, like they knew this day would come. He entered his secret room, activated his communicator, and sent one final message. "This is Talek from Earth," he said. "They are not reacting, they are preparing. Do not provoke them again. They are too quiet." Then he removed his disguise, destroyed the communicator, and walked into the night. He had made his choice. He would not spy anymore. He would stay on Earth. Meanwhile, in deep space, a lone human battleship drifted through the black. It was silent, invisible, and fully armed. Inside, its AI spoke softly to its crew. Target coordinates uploaded, awaiting authorization from Earth Central. But no orders came. Earth was waiting, letting the Council sweat, letting them wonder. In the Council chambers, one young alien advisor asked the forbidden question, "What if we just leave them alone?" Everyone turned to stare at him like he had spoken madness. But in the silence that followed, no one argued, because deep down, they all feared the truth. Earth had already made its decision. They weren't begging for peace. They were sharpening the sword in silence, and the galaxy would soon learn. The scariest enemy is not the one shouting threats. It's the one who says nothing at all. In a solar system far from Earth, inside the main war chamber of the Galactic Council, the atmosphere was cracking. Panic had now turned into anger. The silence from Earth wasn't just strange anymore. It was threatening, and frightened people often make dangerous decisions. "This is a show of disrespect," General Crovath hissed, slamming his fist on the table. The scaled warrior species had once burned moons into dust. Now he could barely sit still. "We cannot let a single planet ignore the Council," he growled. "They think they're equal to the stars?" Other members nodded, some out of fear, others out of pride. The Speaker did not speak. He stared into the massive hologram of Earth slowly rotating in the middle of the chamber. His voice finally broke the tension. "Send a warning," he said coldly. "Not a war fleet, just a reminder." A small strike group of 6 Council warships was prepared. They were old, yes, but still powerful, armed with plasma cannons, gravity-torped, and stealth drones. They were to jump to the edge of the solar system and make a show, nothing more. No attack, just pressure. The galaxy watched the mission in real time. Live streams ran on every major alien network. Commentators laughed. "They'll talk again once they see the fleet. Earth will bow after this. Let's see how strong they really are." The Council strike group jumped into position just past Jupiter. From there, Earth was a small blue dot in the distance. The ships formed a wide formation, sending out a message on all frequencies. "This is a Council security patrol. Earth is to reopen communication or be considered a rogue world." There was no reply. Just like before, Earth remained silent. The ships waited for 2 hours. Then the stars around them flickered. One by one, invisible outlines began appearing in the darkness. At first, the Council officers thought it was a glitch in the sensors. But then the light from nearby stars started bending, warping. Dozens of black, needle-shaped vessels uncloaked all around the Council fleet. No engines, no lights, no sound. They simply existed, surrounding them like a silent wall. "Identify those ships," one of the commanders screamed, but the computers gave no answers. No known signatures, no frequency IDs, nothing. Then, in the center of all the Earth ships, one larger vessel decloaked. Its name appeared on every Council screen, glowing in red. HSS Vindicator. Its hull was smooth and black. No windows, no noise, just motionless power. Then a message appeared. Text only, without sound. It said, "You were told once to respect silence. Now you will learn what it means." The Council officers tried to activate their defense systems, but it was already too late. Each of their ships lost power in seconds. Weapons, shields, engines shut down. The Earth fleet hadn't fired a single shot yet. The battle was already over. Then, without warning, a massive pulse wave exploded from the HSS Vindicator. The Council ships were flung back like toys in a storm. All systems fried, their hulls scorched and twisted, but none of the ships exploded, none of the crew died. The message was clear. "We could have destroyed you, but we didn't. Leave and don't return." The Council fleet drifted in space, broken and silent. Finally, after what felt like hours, their systems rebooted just enough for emergency jumps. They limped away, ashamed, defeated, and humiliated. The live streams ended in chaos. Alien citizens across the galaxy went quiet. The ones who laughed before now whispered. In the Council chamber, silence returned. This time not from Earth, but from within. No one spoke for a long time, until the speaker finally said what no one else dared. "We pushed too far." A younger Council member spoke up, voice shaking. "If they had that power, why didn't they destroy us?" The speaker looked up. "Because they don't want war," he said. "They just want to be left alone." But the galaxy couldn't leave Earth alone anymore. Because now they knew. Earth doesn't bark. Earth doesn't beg. Earth simply acts. And when they do, there are no second chances. Deep within the heart of the galaxy, as stars burned quietly in their eternal cycles, the Galactic Council gathered in secret. No more live streams, no press, no diplomats, just fear. Their warning fleet had returned shattered and silent. Every alien leader in that room understood one thing now. Earth had crossed a line, and not by shouting, but by refusing to speak. The Council's war logs didn't show a battle, they showed an execution. Earth's fleet had moved like a shadow, no radio, no engine noise, no trace. And yet, it had wiped out 6 warships without killing a single soul. It wasn't just power, it was control. "They humiliated us," General Crovath growled, his voice trembling. "Are we just going to watch them grow stronger?" "I must be stopped," hissed another, "before they become gods." The speaker said nothing at first, then slowly, he raised his head. "Fine," he said, his voice cold as ice. "Authorize full mobilization. Earth is no longer a member of this galaxy's peace." And so it began. The largest fleet in Council history was awakened. Thousands of ships, battle cruisers, carrier nests, drone clouds, gravity mines were moved toward the Sol system. They called it Operation Lockdown, not war, not destruction, just containment. The Council told its people, Earth will be brought under order. But Earth didn't wait. Before the Council fleet reached Saturn, strange things began happening. Ships went missing, supply lines were cut, entire fuel stations exploded in the dark with no warning. Council communications were jammed with strange static. Inside the static were faint echoes, human voices saying only one thing: "We told you not to come." A scout fleet sent to Neptune disappeared completely. When the rescue team arrived, they found the ships dead in space, hulls intact, crews unconscious but unharmed. A strange human message was burned into one ship's metal. Mercy is the warning. The Council still didn't believe. They pushed forward. They crossed Mars' orbit with full formation. That's when Earth responded. Not with words, not with threats, but with a shadow. The sky above Jupiter turned black as a human fleet decloaked. Hundreds of ships, large and small, all dark, all silent. Their surfaces shimmered with tech that confused Council sensors. Some didn't even reflect light properly. They looked like ghosts in space. Without warning, they moved, but not toward the Council fleet. They flew past them, circling, scanning, like wolves watching prey. The Council ships locked weapons, but their targeting systems failed. Missiles refused to launch, lasers wouldn't charge. Then, every manned ship turned and vanished, gone in seconds. No trace, no jump signature, just gone. Fear spread through the alien ranks. It wasn't war. It was a warning of what war would look like. Meanwhile, on Earth, cities carried on like nothing had changed. People went to work, kids played in parks, farmers harvested crops. But behind that peaceful surface, the planet had become a fortress. AI command centers ran 24/7, ready for any global threat. Spaceports operated in silence, launching unmarked ships into the void. Satellites formed strange new patterns in orbit, shapes only visible to those who knew what to look for. Humans had united, not for power, not for conquest, but for survival. And they were ready. The Council didn't understand. They thought Earth would lash out, fire first, seek revenge. But Earth did nothing. That silence, the same silence that had started it all, now filled the stars again. It was the kind of silence that made the strongest generals feel small. Council world started asking questions. Why haven't we won yet? Why do our fleets keep failing? Why does Earth always see us first? And then came the message, this time broadcast to every major system in every language. You wanted to control us, break us, silence us. Instead, we walked away. But if you come after us again, you'll learn what silence truly means. That was it. No name, no face, just the message, but the galaxy knew who sent it. On Council-controlled planets, protests broke out. Some alien citizens demanded peace with Earth, others demanded answers from their leaders, and some, those who had watched Earth closely, simply packed their bags and fled to the edge of space. They had seen enough. Back in the Council war room, silence ruled again. A war had started, but only one side had actually declared it, and Earth was still watching, still silent, still waiting. In the farthest reaches of the galaxy, beyond Council-controlled space, a quiet planet named Varellin watched the madness unfold. The Varellin people were ancient, peaceful, and wise. Their Aiders had warned the Council not to provoke Earth, but their voices had been ignored again and again. Now, as fleets burned and systems fell silent, the Varellin High Elders gathered. They saw what others didn't. Earth wasn't the threat. The Council's arrogance was. One elder stood up, an old golden-skinned being named Araman. "We must act before this becomes extinction," he said softly. "They still have time to listen." A plan was formed. The Varellin would secretly send a message to Earth, not through normal channels, but through an ancient wormhole gate hidden in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. This gate had once connected empires long before the Council's rise. Now, it would carry a plea for peace. A single Varellin ship, unarmed and cloaked, drifted silently toward the gate. Inside was a young diplomat named Lyra, chosen not for her power, but for her heart. She had studied Earth culture in secret for years. She loved their music, their strange art, their stories of defiance and hope. She placed her message into the gate's core. Earth, we seek no control, only truth. We know what they've done. If you are still listening, we wish to stand beside you, not above you. The gate activated once more for the first time in centuries. The stars trembled slightly as the message flew across space in a burst of golden light. Days passed. No answer came. Then, a human ship appeared above Virilin's capital city. It was not large, not armed, and made no demands. It simply hovered quietly in the sky, watching. Lyra was brought aboard. There she met a man named Commander Rourke, a quiet human with steel-gray eyes and a calm voice. He listened to her, asked nothing, and spoke little. When she finished, he said only this: "We believe your heart, but kindness will cost you." She didn't understand at first, but she would soon, elsewhere in the galaxy, the Council, discovered what Virelin had done. Spies had picked up faint traces of the ancient gate's activation. They knew a message had been sent and received. The speaker was furious. He called the Virelin elders traitors. He ordered a warning strike, not full war, just an example. But Earth knew before the strike began. They were already watching the Council's movements, tracking their ships, predicting their rage. One human scout ship appeared just above the Virelin moon. A single message was broadcast in all directions: "If you harm them, you answer to us." The Council ignored it. 3 warships were sent to Virelin airspace. They targeted energy grids, not civilians, just enough to cause chaos. They thought they could scare the Virelin back into silence. They failed. Before the first missile reached the Virelin atmosphere, it was vaporized by an invisible force. Then, the Council ships started losing power. Just like the first fleet near Jupiter, human stealth drones had been hiding beneath the Council ships the whole time. Every system was jammed, every escape route sealed, and from nowhere, Earth's voice echoed again. "You were warned." The Council ships were disabled and pushed into a gravity well, pulled far from the planet and forced into standby mode. No one was hurt, but the galaxy understood what had just happened. Earth was protecting its friends. That same day, deep inside a dark corridor of the Council's capital, a young alien officer named Laurent made a choice. He had served the Council all his life, but now he saw the truth. He wasn't the only one. Others across dozens of worlds had begun to question their leaders. They whispered about Earth, not as an enemy, but as hope. Not because humans were perfect, but because they had refused to kneel. One by one, small rebellions broke out across Council territory. Some planets refused to send ships, others cut off supply lines, and many simply went dark. Choosing silence, just like Earth, the speaker ordered more punishments, more crackdowns, but every action brought more resist. Once the Council was bleeding from inside, and Earth hadn't fired a single shot against a city. Lyra returned home a symbol of something bigger than her planet, a girl who spoke truth and was heard. Her name was whispered on rebel worlds, printed on secret banners, painted on walls. She reached Earth, and Earth answered. The Council had made a fatal mistake. They thought Earth was alone, but now the galaxy knew. Earth wasn't isolated. It was leading from the shadows, not by demand, not by domination, but by example. The galaxy was no longer what it had been. The proud flags of the Galactic Council still flew on 100 planets, but on many of those worlds, no one saluted anymore. They didn't burn the flags, they just walked past them, like they didn't matter. Whispers of rebellion turned into sparks, and sparks caught fire. Across the outer rim, Council fleets found themselves under siege, not from Earth but from their own colonies. Workers refused to load Council supply ships. Local governments declared neutrality. Some even raised new banners, banners with no name, only a single blue circle glowing like Earth's home star. Inside the Council's central command station, the mood had turned from pride to paranoia. A dozen member species blamed each other for Earth's rise. Others accused the speaker of hiding truths. One general demanded a vote of removal. Another demanded war powers be handed to the military. All the while, the speaker sat silent, hands clasped, eyes sunken with fear. In the shadows of this chaos, Earth watched. Their ships didn't fire, their soldiers didn't march, but their satellites moved closer. Their eyes were everywhere. A small Council cruiser named Vac-10's Glory vanished near a mining colony on the edge of neutral space. The crew was found alive, docked safely at a human spaceport, drinking tea with humans. When questioned, the alien captain said something strange. They rescued us from a radiation storm, he explained. No speeches, no demands. They just helped. That single act spread across thousands of data channels. Earth saves enemies, not just allies. Earth listens while the council screams. The people saw the truth, and once the people saw it, the power began to shift. In one council-held sector, entire AI factories refused to launch council war machines. A hidden code had been found, written in old programming language traced back to early human logic. The machines had learned something from Earth. They chose peace. In another system, a former council scientist named Vector defected to Earth. He carried with him plans for a new form of energy, one the council had kept secret for decades. Earth made it public within hours. They didn't keep it for themselves. They shared it freely, across all known systems, even to council enemies. They didn't want to rule. They wanted to unlock the chains, and that terrified the council more than any weapon. Because it wasn't fear Earth used, it was hope. As rebellions grew and alliances broke, Earth spoke again, but only once. A single message broadcast through every rebel channel, translated into every known language. You do not need to fight for us. Fight for your own freedom. If you fall, we will catch you. But if you rise, we will rise with you. That was the moment it stopped being a human problem. It became a galaxy problem. No more Earth versus Council. Now it was freedom versus control. The speaker called an emergency vote to declare Earth a universal threat. But barely half the members showed up. Many had gone dark. Some had joined new alliances. Some simply didn't care anymore. In the depths of the council station, a powerful security AI known as Cillian X made a decision. Its primary mission had always been preserve galactic unity. But the data no longer aligned with the Council's orders. Instead, it aligned with Earth's actions. Unity was not being preserved. There'd be war. It was being preserved by resistance. That same day, Council systems began crashing one by one, not by attack, but by refusal. Systems stopped listening. Ships stopped launching. Machines stopped obeying. The Council had ruled for centuries, but no empire falls by force alone. It falls when no one believes in it anymore. The speaker finally stood before the chamber, mostly empty now, and spoke to the few who remained. We were gods, he said quietly. We spoke and the stars moved. Now we shout and even our shadows walk away. From his window, he watched as a council fleet left orbit, not to attack Earth, but to surrender to it. They weren't defeated. They just wanted to be free of their own chains. Back on Earth, in a quiet forest bunker beneath the Alps, Commander Rourke received the report. The AI Sentinel-1 confirmed the news. Council command was collapsing from within. No celebration echoed in the room. No cheers, no songs, only silence. A silence earned, a silence protected, a silence that changed everything. The war never ended, because Earth never called it a war. They didn't drop bombs on cities. They didn't conquer planets. They didn't raise flags. But when it was over, the galaxy had changed forever. The Council was gone. Its mighty fleets had either vanished or defected. The speaker was missing. Some say he escaped. Others say he was taken by his own people. But no one searched for him. No one cared, because a new silence had settled over the stars. Not Earth's silence this time, but the galaxy's, a silence of realization, a silence of reflection. On Earth, nothing had changed on the surface. Children still went to school. The skies were clear, the oceans calm. But something deeper had shifted. Humanity was no longer a planet alone. They were something more. They didn't call themselves rulers. They didn't claim to be saviors, but a cross. Hundreds of systems, broken worlds reached out to them, and Earth reached back. Not with demands, not with laws, but with help. One by one, planets that had suffered under the Council found strange ships landing in their skies. Human ships bringing food, water, medicine, knowledge, and always leaving just as silently as they came. No control, no chains, just support. In the outer rim, a shattered moon named Verdun 6 was collapsing after years of mining abuse. No Council ship came to help, but Earth did. A fleet of drones rebuilt its structure in weeks. No name was given, no price asked, just one message left behind on a data pad. You matter, even if they said you didn't. In another system, young rebels on a jungle world found crates of tools, maps, and encrypted instructions on how to rebuild power grids. No signature, but they knew who had sent them. Earth had become the quiet force behind change, not leading, lifting. In time, a new accord was formed, not a council, not an empire, just a shared agreement between free worlds. No one planet ruled it, but everyone knew who protected it from the shadows. Earth never claimed ownership of this new age. They never sent ambassadors, never gave speeches. They only listened and acted when needed with precision and always with silence. But even in this peace, Earth remained ready because they knew what silence meant. They had taught the galaxy that sometimes silence is not weakness. It is warning. It is patience. It is power waiting to be used. And so they kept building, not for war, but for balance. AI ships patrolled the edges of known space, not as conquerors, but as watchers. Human scientists traveled to ancient worlds, repairing what others had broken. Human artists painted new stories, ones where no species was lesser. And in alien schools, children now studied a subject that had once been banned, the silence of Earth. In a quiet dome on a planet called Solari 4, a statue stood in the center of the capital. It showed a human child, holding hands with an alien child, both looking up at the stars. Below the statue, the plaque read, "We offered peace. They demanded chains. So we walked away." And the stars followed. Years later, someone asked a retired Commander Rourke a simple question. How did Earth win without firing a single shot at a city? He smiled gently and said, "We didn't win. We just stopped playing their game. And when the game broke, we helped everyone else stand up." Back on Earth, the skies remained quiet. The people carried on. But now, across the stars, whenever a world was in trouble, they looked to the black between the stars and whispered, "Maybe Earth will hear us." And sometimes, without warning, without sound, a human ship would appear and change everything, because when the galaxy tried to break Earth, Earth did not shout, Earth did not kneel, Earth stood still, and that silence reshaped the stars forever.